Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season. This episode is presented by Uber Eats. When football makes you hungry, order Uber Eats. I do every weekend. All right, that took a turn. So I said all week, this was the one pick that didn't make the Blazing Five. I like the Vikings. I did not think it would look like this. They win 27-24. I had an executive in the league text me tonight. In Kevin O'Connell, we trust. He is so respected around the league. And you watch that running game for the Vikings develop in the second half, and you watch JJ McCarthy gain confidence. He looked as bad as any quarterback I saw this weekend in the first 2.5 quarters. And tell me if I'm wrong on this, but JJ McCarthy reminds me a little of Baker Mayfield. Baker plays with a lot of emotion. And when Baker is feeling it, and, like a basketball player gets into his zone, Baker hits a couple completions, his accuracy and his velocity noticeably improve. And JJ McCarthy, they were protecting him in the first half. First start, road game, didn't take a lot of snaps in the preseason. And then all of a sudden he hit one throw. I forget if it was to Justin Jefferson. And from that point forward, you were watching a different quarterback, a completely different quarterback. The Vikings, listen, the Vikings have the better owner. They have the better front office. They have the more proven head coach. They have the better roster. The Vikings were favored on the road. They should be. But they didn't play like it in the first half. But once JJ McCarthy in the fourth, with a run game, now with confidence, now with the staff with confidence in him, in the fourth quarter, 6 of 8, 149.5 passer rating, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns. Would you have predicted that watching the first 3 quarters of JJ McCarthy? And you are lying through your teeth if you say yes. I joked on Twitter, he deserved comeback player of the week from first quarter to fourth. It was just an incredible turnaround. I've never been a huge JJ McCarthy fan. I don't see what trait. I hear he's a winner and he's got some alpha and he's got pretty good feet and moves. But what you saw in the second half, it does feel a little Baker Mayfield. He's an emotional player, and when he gets confidence and he gets rolling, he's got some zip on the ball. And again, this team, Minnesota's got real players. And Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell, I think I read about 2 months ago in The Athletic an article on the best coaching staff in the league, head coach to coordinators, and Minnesota was number 1, and I think Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan were number 2. So I thought the game, I had said this on Fox today, I thought the game would come down between the battle between Caleb Williams and Brian Flores. So Caleb was 10 for 10 when it was on script, right? Ben Johnson scripted plays, he was 10 for 10. And then what happened when they went off script? After the 10 for 10 start, Caleb Williams was 10 of 24, 105 yards, and the Bears were riddled with penalties. They had a dozen, way too many. So let's just start with JJ McCarthy. I think this is a very exciting time. So, you have these young quarterbacks. It's like Denver last year. It was a bumpy September for Bo Nix. Then you look up and you're like, ooh, I think we made the playoffs. I think we found our franchise quarterback. I said it with Justin Fields. My God, the Jets lost. You have to feel great. Have we found our guy? Jets have been looking forever. I think if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, you take that fourth quarter and you're pretty fired up. You got outplayed for 3 quarters. You were trailing. The game kind of felt like if Chicago, when they were leading, could just string some first downs together and pin the Vikings and JJ McCarthy deep middle third quarter, you're like, I'm not so sure if this game's not over. But again, of the 2 teams, one of them, Minnesota's, really started churning out a running game, and that got better field position. That gave JJ McCarthy better second and third down options. They open up the playbook. Then you get some momentum. You're winning the line of scrimmage. So that run game really helped kind of set the tone for Minnesota. They could get a little more aggressive with JJ. Then he hits a couple of passes. He's feeling it, and it just fed itself. A crazy game, though. The first half, I was sitting there thinking, I'm not sure I've seen a quarterback that looks more overwhelmed this entire weekend in the NFL than JJ McCarthy. Like he looked, I mean, it was a protective, deliberate, cautious game plan. But, I mean, in Kevin O'Connell, we trust. So you have to feel great. If I'd have told you the Vikings won by 3 before the game started, you'd have taken it. You had no idea it would look like this. A dreadful first 2.5 quarters, and then a remarkable fourth quarter for JJ McCarthy. So he's just going to grow and grow and grow, and let's watch it unfold. It's fun. Packers dealt with this with Jordan Love. He had a good start. It goes backwards. It's not linear. It's not in a straight line with young quarterbacks. But this is a nice win. With Caleb Williams, the criticism of him, and I've discussed this for 2 years, was he played a little bit too much hero ball, could be undisciplined, and his accuracy was hit and miss. I think you saw a lot of the accuracy issues, sailing balls. When JJ McCarthy got into a rhythm, he was very, very accurate. Caleb is all over the map on accuracy. Can miss layups, can hit big plays. He felt like he was all over the map. And he plays with a lot of emotion. After a big run, he's got a little, he's going to show you a little personality. I'm not a huge fan of it. It is what it is. But I watch head coaches to watch their view and their confidence. And Ben Johnson on a couple of drives, in fact, I wrote it down here. Ben Johnson, third quarter, it was coming out. Caleb had a really bad series, and Ben Johnson was shaking his head and he was frustrated because he missed an open receiver. Then he dirted one. Um, I don't know with Caleb Williams. The offensive line for the Bears, it's a perpetual problem. They spent a lot of money to upgrade the interior O-line. But again, Brian Flores, he's a handful to deal with. And the Vikings have better players. But I don't know. I think Caleb Williams has an incredibly high ceiling. He has a ton of horsepower. The arm, the movement is, he's got a power arm. That completion on the first drive to Roma Dunze on the sideline was gas. It was heat. And he made a couple big throws to DJ Moore. He's got a fastball, but a lot of times he's missing the strike zone. So it's a real work in progress. Ben Johnson was frustrated during the game. 12 penalties, false starts. I think some of that's on Caleb Williams. When you read that story with Tyler Dunn, where they were having problems, they had to simplify the offense last year. I trust Tyler Dunn. He's written multiple stories on the Bills or the Packers and the Bears, and he's been accurate. And when you have 12 penalties and multiple false starts, that's usually on the quarterback. So, and I think Ben Johnson's, I think he's a more than capable guy, but he wants a timing and rhythm quarterback. Like he's got that Shanahan thing. And Kevin O'Connell, same thing. He's going to dial up plays. He'll let you add little. And JJ McCarthy's got pretty good feet, but he wants you to run his play. And I felt tonight that half the time Caleb didn't see the field and just took off. Football season's here, and if you want to go to an NFL or college football game, Game Time is the place for you. The Game Time app just gives you the advantage back to you, the fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. I love it. Easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price, 100%. So they even let you preview your seat on the app. That's special. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay every time. Take the guesswork out of buying professional football tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account. If you use the code Colin, COLIN, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code COLIN, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Well, I'm fired up to announce Hard Rock Bet as the Volume's new presenting sponsor. Everybody knows Hard Rock hotels and casinos are iconic for entertainment. Well, now the Hard Rock Bet app brings more energy and excitement than ever to the world of sports betting. What does it mean for you? Well, here at the Volume, you'll start to see us use Hard Rock Bet's lines when talking about the biggest games, college or pro. We'll give you all the crazy stats from Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub, which is right there in the app. Plus, we'll be taking the show on the road, doing live broadcasts, meet and greets right from the Hard Rock properties down in Florida. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app's the only legal sportsbook whenever you're in Florida. It's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states coming soon. So right now is the perfect time to sign up. All you have to do is place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll score $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. That's $150 more dollars for you to bet this football season. If you're in New Jersey, you can also hit the Hard Rock Bet Casino app. It has all the same casino games you'd play at one of their properties. All your favorite games from Atlantic City, practically everything you want to bet across every sport, all in the same top-rated, nearly 5-star app. So head over, sign up today, join us as we get this party started with Hard Rock Bet, and roll with us all football season. So, and again, he's explosive. He's going to make plays. He ran for that touchdown. I mean, there was some growth tonight. I think he only got sacked once. Could have been twice, but he scored a touchdown on his first possession. I don't think the Bears did that all of last year. They did it tonight. They have a better coach and an offensive head coach. They're going to be better. But I think if you're a Bears fan, you're left scratching your head. And is this Justin Fields, where, there's moments, the size, the arm, the athleticism, the movement, there are definitely moments, but you're kind of left. I mean, you watch Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and you watch JJ McCarthy for 3 quarters, Caleb Williams, it's a different sport. So listen, I was as big a fan as Caleb Williams had. I didn't think he was Andrew Luck or a John Elway, but I thought he was really talented and on script. In that first drive, he was 10 for 10 on script. So that's something. But it just feels like to me they couldn't generate a consistent run game. The Vikings did. They never really had back-to-back great drives. The Vikings had 3 straight great drives in the fourth quarter. And the better personnel, the better org is the Vikings. That's why they're favored in this game. So, I mean, I'm just trying to think how you would feel. If you're a Viking fan and you played like that for 3 quarters and won, you have to be overjoyed. Yeah, and you have to love what you saw to JJ McCarthy. He didn't play much in the preseason. So, maybe the game plan, Kevin O'Connell just went into the game plan thinking Brian Flores is going to give Caleb Williams issues. He probably thought they're not going to run that much on our defensive front. We're just going to let this game slowly bake and develop, and we're going to let the game come to JJ McCarthy. That could have been the entire game plan, but we're going to go in very cautious. Can Brian Flores create some mistakes? And then let's let the game develop. Maybe that was the game plan from the beginning. It didn't look like that based on the facial expressions of Kevin O'Connell, but maybe that was the game plan. So I think if you're a Vikings fan, and I've said this, they remind me of the Kansas City Chiefs before Mahomes. I just think Minnesota's smartly owned and well run. They draft and develop. And they've got, Kevin O'Connell was a great hire. Flores is, in my opinion, arguably the best defensive coordinator in the league. Robert Saleh's up there, Vic Fangio. But you have to feel great if you're a Vikings fan. You really do. I mean, if the next game, you're probably going to get something from JJ McCarthy that looks much more like the fourth quarter of JJ with confidence than the first quarter. Now he's got a full start behind him and a road start. That matters. If you're the Bear fans, I'm just looking at some numbers here. Bears are with the Lions next week on a short week, facing a Detroit team that was humiliated. That is a rough spot. And listen, Jared Goff's first start with Ben Johnson calling the plays, he had an 80 passer rating, 57% completion percentage. Caleb Williams' first start, 87 passer rating, 60% completion start. They both threw for about 215 yards and both had a couple of total touchdowns. So Jared Goff's first game with him and Caleb Williams are very similar. They're obviously different players. But, I think the thing that I think the thing that really stuck out to me with Caleb was too many times he sat in that pocket, 1001, 1002, 1000, and he took off. Now, again, Brian Flores is a handful. And, maybe I'd rather Caleb Williams take off than see ghosts and throw picks. So I was thinking after the first half, well, he's running too much, but that's better than if you're not seeing the field well and you don't see openings. Now, he did miss a couple. There were open people, but that's better than throwing a pick and throwing it up for grabs. But in the end, I think if you're the Bears, you just got to cross your fingers and keep watching. You don't have any definitive statements. You should have won tonight. You didn't take advantage when JJ McCarthy was sort of growing and lacking confidence to gaining confidence. You had about 2 hours of football and two and a half, 3/4 of football to really seize control of the game. Some of that, the penalties, and you couldn't run the ball. So there were a lot of third and longs and difficult situations. At one point, these quarterbacks combined were 4 for 20 on third down. It was not Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. But it is just one of the reasons I love this sport. You have to watch the games and you have to watch until the end. And I don't want to, it'd be one thing if JJ McCarthy had one good drive at the end and walked off with a win. He didn't. He had three drives. His velocity was excellent. They were running the ball. And it was like that was not just, a good series or play calling. That was JJ McCarthy making multiple nice throws with a lot of velocity. And he does have good feet. You can move the pocket. He's got a little Brock Purdy that you can move the pocket with him, which is almost a standard basic trait you have to be equipped with. But he's got that. So 27-24. What a first weekend. I mean, Dallas takes the Eagles to the wire. The next day in Brazil, Justin Herbert's flawless and beats Kansas City. Then Sunday's unbelievable 1 o'clock window. I got Jets and Steelers. The late game, Bills and Ravens, is one for the ages. And then this thing tonight, it may not have been an aesthetic masterpiece. It turned out to be a hell of a fourth quarter. Man, well, we got what, 17, 18, 19, 20 more weeks of this stuff? I'm here for it. My instant reaction.